Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check another VR builds, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So, for today I was trying to make an assist team, but unlike the demons or protect type characters, assist and suppress human, those three traits don't have that much support. I mean, they do, of course, but not like the two lapis that enhance demon, or Spinel, which I didn't use last time, which also enhance all your demons. I don't know, like there are options for protect and demon, but not that many for assist. So let me show you what I found. So first of all, we're gonna be using Emily. Emily is going to be a buffer and attacker at the same time. So for that purpose, we're gonna be using Sledge of Blessing. This weapon is super important to fulfill her role as a buffer. If you don't have this, then like you better change the strategy. Maybe the buffer with Ana Rose and the Momochi weapon, that would be better. But you want to use Sledge of Blessing because every 50 combos you're going to increase the damage of your allies by 8% for 8 seconds by 4%, and it can stack up to 6 times. That means that you can increase it up to 20% if you get all, no, 24% if you get all those stacks, which is pretty good, pretty nice. And also it has a way of dealing with enemies if they hit you, which in this VR is going to be kind of normal, but the enemies I think have enough super armor, so maybe it doesn't really matter the second effect. This weapon is 5 out of 5 plus 14, as you can see. The Magatamas are wind. With this weapon, it is super important to use wind Magatamas to increase the speed. You want speed increase, as you can see, so that you can use the combos constantly. Then another weapon, 5 out of 5 plus 14, whatever Magatamas. For skills, we're going to be using Gravity Hold. I'm using Gravity Hold, but actually I could change this for anything I want. Like, you can put whatever you want. Because I'm going triple color in this case. Knock up enemy. Okay, I think I'll just use this one instead. Like, the effect is way better for round slicer, and I'm not using healing field in this case. I'm gonna use homing bullet, of course, and also zero system, because I'm going triple color. Basically, whenever you use triple color, you want to use the skill that works on every color and the skill that enhances your basics. Why am I going triple color? Number one, I'm gonna use red evil bodyguard Momochi Nagi. Why her? She increases my speed, number one. Every 10 combos increases the speed. And Emily is super good at doing combos. So this is gonna be great. It's gonna increase my speed. And if I increase my speed, I can do more combos and I can improve the attack of my partners. That's very important. It also reduces damage taken. Like, not all the time, but for periods of time. And that's fine. And also, I have this on the main because it increases damage of my assist type characters. This is the only supporter that I could find that enhances assist type characters. If I skip something, let me know in the comments. Like, maybe there's a supporter that I didn't check properly. But as far as I know, this is the only one that is going to enhance your assist type team. And then it also has an active bot. I mean, we're not going to pilot it, so it doesn't matter that much. For green, I am using Eleonor because I'm going to be using Eleonor as one of my teammates. And Eleonor is going to perma debuff the enemy by inflicting wet. And this increases our damage against wet enemies. Well, enemies inflicted with wet, to be more precise. Like, that didn't sound good, but in any case. When doing an instant dodge, gain 6 seconds of super armor. Like, we don't need it that much, but I mean, the thing that really matters is the damage increase and the color effect. If you want to go double blue, you can change this for an Arabella or something like that. Whatever that you want to use. Even where is she? Uraru. Uraru? Yeah, Uraru. That's an option. Lastly, I have Arabella here. So I guess that you couldn't use Arabella. You could use Felicia. You could use one of the big three, depending on who you're facing. So yeah, there's options. And yeah, that's it for Emily. The next one is going to be Eleonor. So Eleonor is going to be our debuffer. Wet isn't the best debuff in the world. It's like a slight slow that stacks. And it's not the greatest thing in the world, but oops, I'm missing the Magatamas. Well, I know that I was going to equip her with Fire Magatamas, so that's no problem. Fire and whatever Magatamas. There. So, what am I doing here? I'm using, obviously, Guide of the Starry Seas, because basically whenever you use Eleonor, you want to use this weapon. It is limited, unfortunately. If you're not using this, maybe use Treasure of the Deep Ocean. It has a pretty good effect. Increases damage dealt to enemies with debuffs. That's fine. It's a 30%. It's substantial. I'll admit that. And the wet on the active is also kind of nice. But being able to snare the enemy is way better. And also increases critical damage dealt to enemies under wet status. And that's we're not going to use because this is VR. So only the snare part is useful. If you want to go more as a damage dealer, then Treasure of the Deep Sea is fine. Obviously, if we're using the limited weapon, we use Reflective Ray. We also use Acid Rain to inflict wet and Geyser Burst. This one to get a little bit of control by pulling the enemy into the whirlpool or whatever it's called. Yeah. And then, obviously, if we want to optimize the wet debuff, we want to use Prophet Eleonor. Prophet Eleonor is going to increase your damage against enemies with wet and also increases your critical rate, which we don't use. But the thing that really matters is the extra passive that constantly inflicts wet onto the enemy. So that's going to help the other character who has the character release limited supporter for Eleonor, the green one. The red one is only going to help us keep those stacks up. And also it has a good active too. We're using, of course, Gal Lilim. We want to take advantage of the debuffs. And we need Eleonor to be a little bit more tanky. I would use another supporter that gives her like defense and attack. But if I'm not mistaken, she's assist. This is an assist team. And because of that, I cannot use... who? I cannot use... Nagi. Nagi is the one. Yeah, she's for suppress. So I'm using Susune. But if you don't want to use Susune against this specific enemy, you could use Lina. I'm gonna use Lina because she gives me more damage. She gives me 8% more damage. But this is specific because my character is demon and the enemy is demon, so it works. If it wasn't the case, I would use Susune. There we go. Lastly, we're going to be using Felicia because Felicia is going to allow us to heal. In this case, the team is going to be full assist, so we wouldn't use Lapis because she's protect. Felicia fulfills the role as a healer, and she can go green or blue on VR, depending on what you want to do. Green is pretty competent, but doesn't have as much healing as blue. That's the issue. So, Felicia is going to be using her limited weapon. This is particularly good against the Queen Kanaloa because of the invincibility that they have. This removes that. I'm going to be using Water and Ice Magatamas, Anti-Demon. A water and whatever weapon with whatever Magatamas. 5 out of 5, both of them. Plus 15 and plus 10. Vampiric Zone, because we want as much healing as possible, because we only have one healer. Everyone else doesn't have healing skills. Evil Stare, that's the same reason. It deals a ton of damage. It is boosted by the weapon, and it allows us to heal. That's why we use this one. And Vampiric Blood we use so that we can remove those buffs. It is pretty useful. Because of the amount of multi-hits. And then, why we remove because of the weapon. We remove the buffs because of the weapon with this basic enhancer. For supporters, we use Arabella, of course, to increase damage. Kirara, to increase damage and gain HP recovery. And Felicia, to absurdly increase the damage of Felicia. And also gain a little bit of HP recovery and damage reduction. So yeah, we're gonna try it on Queen Kanaloa, step 61. I mean, it is very likely that this is going to work. I haven't tested it, but like Queen Kanaloa, like Snare isn't like the best debuff against this specific enemy. It works for sure. Oh my god. I almost forgot the command. Yeah, it was hold evade. So yeah, basically we're going to be able to just keep the enemies in place and inflict them with debuffs and deal a ton of damage. And we're gonna deal even more damage the farther we go into the battle, thanks to Emily doing the combos and using that Sledge of Blessing. Oh my god, that... Can I remove that, please? Well, it's gonna be removed either way. Yeah, damage. Nice. I'm going to use the ultimate. Perfect. Another damage. Come on. Wow, another ultimate. Come on, do combos, do combos, do combos, do combos. Oh, I lost the the stacks. Yeah, but even if everyone else doesn't have healing, as long as you have one healer, one competent healer, it is fine. Like Green Felicia does the job, but it's risky because it will be only using one healing skill in the perfect dodge. But Blue Felicia is fine because you use the all blue skill, and that's gonna be it. With both skills, you're always going to be healing, no matter what happens. This thing is not getting down, god. Okay, I'm gonna use the ultimate. Yeah, like in the HP department, everyone else is fine. And as you can see, with everything that Eleonor has equipped, she's able to reach max stacks of wet pretty easily. And the fact that there are multiple enemies is way better because she gains more damage per enemy that is inflicted with wet. So yeah, it is pretty good. If you want to change the build, that's fine. Like particularly Emily, this is just a thing that you can use if you have it, but you don't need it. If you go blue, using Oraru for example, then you can just equip Gravity Hull and you have extra healing. Like you don't need to go pure blue on this one because you only gain critical rate. So it's fine to go with a mixed build. And for Felicia, let me tell you, if you want to go green, you may use, of course, that Eleonor for sure. Like, there's things that she can equip. Of course, she can equip Lina because we're facing a demon. She can equip Hebico just to poison the enemy because the enemy is gonna be debuff for sure, thanks to Wet and Mark. You can also equip Misaki. You can equip Ingrid. It helps out with the damage, of course. If you go with New York Hebico, use Ichika too. That's fine. And of course, you would change Evil Strange for Slaying Spree, which is a great attack with a great debuff. But the fact that you're over relying on the perfect dodge and that this perfect dodge has a really long cooldown puts you at risk, like too much in my opinion. So if you want to use Felicia as your healer, be sure to only use her on blue if your characters don't have their own ways to heal their HP. If they have HP recovery skills, then it's no problem. You can go green. But if Felicia is the only one healing, go blue, please, so that you don't die. And yeah, I am over relying on limited equipment for sure on this specific composition. But like, Eleonor is not as proficient if she's not using limited equipment, number one. And I want to use synergies that go with Eleonor. And I also need to increase my damage with Felicia. That's why I use these two. Like, you could change, of course, this one for damage reduction with Sakuya. That's completely fine. Or you could also go with Hebico. That's pretty good. And of course, the last one, you could change it for the corresponding damage increase supporter that you like from the big three. Or something else. Like, there's many options. This is limited, but it's good. Let's see. Like, which else? You could use Akina. I don't recommend it. Like, it is not the best option. You could use... Wow, there aren't that many options, actually. I mean, you could use Sakura. Sakura is super great. Her damage reduction is pretty competent. Okay, so yeah. Like, that's about it, guys. What do you think about this build? It is wacky to use Eleonor, I won't deny, on VR when she's not like trying to abuse a snare to defeat the enemy. Like, she does abuse snare, but like Queen Kanaloa doesn't really care that much about snare. So yeah, well, in any case, that's about it. I'll be seeing you next time. Bye.